My name is Mary Ragui from Favor Wildlife Safaris. One of you as a tour operator, a trainer, and a coach. I'm happy to be associated with the tribe of women. Today we are going through understanding your customer. And as Caroline has called it, it is a deep dive. Why deep dive? Because we have gone through this, remember, since March, we've been going through some webinars, and customer journey has been one of them. And so we just diving deeper to understand who is this customer that we are serving, and particularly for those people who are undertaking the coaching. It will be important for you to understand this so that you are able to clearly map who the customer is as far as your company is concerned. So who is a customer? Somebody said that the true purpose of a business is to create and keep a customer, not to make you money. I am sure you'll all agree with me that though at the end of the tunnel you want to see money, you cannot get money if you're not creating and keeping a customer. You only make money after you have created and kept this customer. So that is the true purpose of the business. And therefore, to create and keep this customer, it means that you have to listen to the customer, understand the customer, and give the customer what they are looking for. A customer would be described as somebody who is willing to do business with you at expense of the competitors. You have been selected among the many. So this person is willing to do business with you at the expense of all the other competitors. It is also somebody who values your product or your service, who sees something in it and they would like to be associated with it. And not only that, they are also willing to pay for what you are offering. Because even if they see value and they cannot be able to pay, then they cannot become a customer as far as you are concerned. And therefore, they are willing and they are able to pay. And most importantly, a customer is the one who is ready to honestly evaluate your services. Honestly evaluate your services. This is the true customer, not the one who is unhappy but is not telling you, but telling everyone about their experience with you. We'll get to that. So not everyone is your customer. Think about it. Many inexperienced operators, when you ask them who their customer is, many would respond to you, anyone, or even worse, everyone. Everyone is my customer. I can serve anyone and everyone. And worse still, if you don't know your target market, you'd like to serve anywhere and everywhere. Anywhere and everywhere. And what these answers demonstrate is that you are not focused. There's lack of focus. There's also lack of strategy. You are not sure of what you're doing. And a story is told of a woman who came to the fork of the road where there are two roads ahead, right and left. At the junction, she stood not knowing which road to take. And another woman came after her, almost taking a right turn. And in a haste, the other woman asked, which road do I take? Which road do I take? Said the stranded woman. Then the other one asked her, where do you want to go? And she answered, I don't know. And the answer of the other one was very, very hilarious and simple. She told her then, it doesn't matter, take any route, it will take you there because you don't know where you're going. So the same case applies to our customer. Not everyone is our customer, and therefore, if we know who our customer is, we will be able to appreciate that we cannot please everybody. A mother and a wife have different perspectives. Doesn't matter who or where or which age. But the way a mother looks at things is very different from how a wife looks at them. I'm giving this because I know majority of us are women-owned entrepreneurs. Again, you need to get the best fit. Who is that I can be able to service? Because not everyone is your customer. Am I going to the right, to the east, or to the west? Where exactly do I want to be? And somebody said, if you want everybody, you don't want anybody. If you want everybody to be your customer, then you don't want anybody. Why is it that you don't want anybody? Because remember, you'll be customizing your products according to their needs. And therefore, what you have cannot fit everybody. You have to tailor make it to suit somebody. And as we said, anyone and everyone demonstrates lack of focus and strategy. So who is your customer? Maybe we can use the chart and tell us, just list who are your customers as far as you're concerned, as far as that company of yours is concerned. Who is your customer? Please use the chart and let's know who your customer is. In a minute, less than a minute actually. Who is your customer? Whom do you serve? Nothing on the chart yet. Are we there?
Yes, we have one from Tina. She says the leisure traveler, the corporate client.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Vera says family trips.
Yes. Yeah, members, do you have customers?
The event organizer.
Uh-huh. So from that, we are still getting more?
The safari guest, more on corporate again. Church groups. Girl trips. Religious groups. Universities and college students. A lot of corporate and leisure groups and student groups.
Uh-huh. Thank you. If we can take those examples, then we can clearly see the different customers that are served by different companies. Leisure, business, corporate. I heard of church, religious. So all these people will be having different needs. And as can be seen from the screen, we have somebody there who is having customers, and this looks like in an exhibition, and therefore the person could be doing the B2B. We see another solo traveler there, just alone. We see a couple on a safari. So different customers calling for different needs. And therefore, we need to be prepared. We need to understand who our customers are for us to be able to service their needs appropriately. and distinguish ourselves accordingly. So it is important for us. We have said that you cannot serve everywhere. And as a result of that, you need to profile, you need to analyze so that you're able to come up with the correct customer that you'll be serving. And we know that I use the two examples of B2B and B2C, and you can now be able to use that to narrow down to who your customer will be. So for the B2B profiling, as I said, this is a deep dive. You may have gone through this elsewhere. So when we are doing the profiling for B2B analysis, we look at the industry. What kind of industry are you looking at? We saw some education. We saw some business events organizers. So where do you get your customer? From which industry? Again, the geographical location. From which area? So when you're doing this, you're coming up with a list and indicating against each of these. This is helping you to understand that B2B customer, that agent that you'll be targeting. I know that some of us have gone for exhibitions, and there is the virtual one that just ended. That is where you get the B2B customer. And it is always important for us to carry out this analysis before we go out there to help us understand, when I go there, who will I be looking for? You cannot be looking for everyone. I thank God for sheet rates because I have now learned better to profile. And therefore now I don't go everywhere. I am focused. What kind of background are you looking at in terms of cultural, in terms of ethnic? Remember, we have a region. Again, what size of company are you looking at? Are you looking for the likes of TUI, Kuoni, and the like? Would that be your match? So when you get the right size, it will help you match with the right B2B agent. Their budget, vis-a-vis your budget. Do you do budget? Do you do luxury? Do you do the backpackers? What are their pains and what are their gains? Remember, they might be having other agents already in your own country. So what are their gains and pains? Again, who is the decision maker in that company, or who is the influencer that will give you business? Because having gone for an exhibition or a trade fair, it will be very bad for you to be talking to someone who cannot make a decision. And therefore, at the end of the day, you end up spending time and money that might not be realized. What are their end consumers' preferences? What are they looking for? Whom do they service also? Who are they? You are trying to understand who is this agent even before you meet. So that when you are meeting this agent, remember we are doing the deep dive of understanding our customer. When you're meeting this agent, you already know what they represent, their customers. And therefore you have already also tried to match with them to see whether there can be a match. It's a puzzle. You're only missing one. So if you get the right one, then you complete the puzzle. That is why you're going through this journey of profiling. And for those people who undertook the export marketing, this was well covered. And you can go back and listen to the recordings that are normally sent by Caroline. And before I leave the B2B profiling, it would be important to say something like that Zig Ziglar said, that you can have everything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. Enough other people. We are crying that we do not have business because we are only having one agent. If you understand the agents that you'll be serving, and you get enough of them to help them solve their problems, reduce their pains, then you'll have everything that you want. And at the end of it all, you'll be making profit. And why are you doing all this? Why are you carrying out this analysis? You are doing this because you want to understand the uniqueness of these agents. How unique are they? If, like, for example, you're dealing with religious, as some of you have alluded, or you're dealing with students, then you need to understand how unique is this agent that you are looking for. Is this an agent who deals with religious groups? Is this an agent who deals with the student groups? Who is this person? What is their uniqueness? Again, you also need to understand the competition that is in that particular market. Where are they headed? If, for example, they are looking for Africa, which country? Is there any possibility of me working with them? If somebody has said that they are working with, for example, West Africa, and you are from East Africa, would it be wise for you to look for this person before you look for those dealing with East Africa? It is important for us to familiarize ourselves with the profiles before we even step out. And this should be the first step. What are their buying patterns? What are their trends? When do they market Africa? So after we have understood that, it will be okay for us to get to the next level and go looking for them. Then here we look at the B2C persona analysis. The other one was B2B. Now, what if you market to your customers directly? You also need to understand them. You need to understand their age, their gender, marital status, the description of how they move. Is it as a family size or do they go solo? Their income, their education level, their occupation, their cultures or ethnic background. Again, we are doing this because we want to understand who our ideal customers could be. And this will help us understand them better and faster, understand their needs, and also pinpoint their hurting areas so that we can be able to offer our services. So why do we need to understand our customers? If we look at that picture up there, we have cookies and we have veggies. So if you're giving cookies to A, would they be happy? Maybe they have selected going veg, not taking gluten because of their size or health or whichever other reason. So it's important for you, first of all, to understand whom are you looking for. If this person is a leisure person, what do you market to the leisure person? As opposed to what you'd be marketing to the students. So where are you understanding your customer? Because demand is likely to differ across different customers. And when they differ, then it will mean that You also have to change your products, your services to suit the difference. You also need to identify their profiles so that you know what are the profiles that I should be looking for in the new customers. There's somebody who talked of girls' trips. If it's girls' trips, would you go to men? Definitely no, because you have clearly identified your customer's profile, and therefore you'll be trying to attract more new customers amongst girls. You also need to understand the reasons that trigger their behavior and how they can be modified appropriately to increase satisfaction. Remember, your role is to give value. If you're not giving value, no one is ready to pay you. And as a result of that, you must ensure that you modify as time moves and as your customers changes. It will also be good for you to identify the level of satisfaction and understand it early enough. This will prevent unexpected drops in visit frequencies. Remember, it is serving them more and more that will increase your revenue more and more. You cannot keep serving one and then tomorrow they are running to the other person. So identify their levels of satisfaction early enough. And identify their expectations to guide in your product improvement. Very important. So I would like you to put in the chat what has changed that would warrant us to seek to understand customers more. Are there changes that has taken place that would warrant us to seek to understand customers more? Please put in the chat. What has changed? Any changes that has taken place that are warranting us to go back to the drawing board to understand who this customer is now?
Nothing on the chat yet. Okay, so from Bridget, we have COVID experiences.
COVID experiences.
From Zainab, we have spending power, COVID pandemic, travel restrictions.
Spending power. Many people have lost their jobs.
From Vera, she says health and safety regulations. Margaret also says finances. Francisca is limited movements.
That is the travel restrictions. So going with those examples, a lot has changed. And we cannot continue doing businesses as usual. Something needs to change. Our finances or those finances of our customers might be restrained. Many have lost their employments, their businesses. So they cannot afford to buy what we used to sell to them. Lots of travel restrictions. You are coming to Kenya, we need a certificate showing that you are COVID-19 free, 96 hours. Then you're going back and they're telling you that when you come back here, you have to go to your quarantine 14 days. So that means that if somebody had taken a break of a week for a safari and they go back, that makes it 3 weeks, which might be almost impossible. And all these things like the health and safety regulations And the fear that has been instilled in many of the COVID-19 pandemic as a result of being affected or infected. Remember, some of your customers are suffering as a result of COVID, either being affected or infected. I have a customer who has lost 5 members of the extended family. And therefore, I empathize with this person. So we need to understand our customers more. We need to help them heal. And other things that has changed includes technology. We have virtual tours that are taking us by surprise. So which might either reduce our customers, because if people goes for virtual tours and they are okay with it, they don't want to come and see them live, then that could mean a change to what we are offering and could also mean a change to our products. We have change in customers' behavior, in their expectations. Very, very important for us to understand that their expectations could have changed. They've been in-house and therefore now they don't want to be in the car again. They want experience, they want exposure. The supply chains could also have changed because of all these protocols that has been put in place. So all these calls for us to seek to understand our customers more. We have the sustainability component. We need to understand them more. Remember, it is value again that will make them come to us as opposed to them going through a virtual tour. So what value are you adding? What innovations have you put in place? Let us move with the world. So briefly, let's look at various needs of these two types of customers. We have the B2C and the B2B, and both of them have various needs, which could be different or the same depending on how you're looking at them. A B2C customer will be looking for quality. They want quality, no matter how much they are paying, they still want quality. So what is your quality? What quality is quality? They need to be given choices, not to be spoiled by what you cannot offer, but they need choices. They need convenience. I need it on my laptop. I don't want to be told to come to your office to collect that ticket. Can you send it to me as an e-ticket? Fair pricing also is one of their needs. If I go to booking.com and get it at this price, and you're charging me $100 more, then you need to explain to me where your fairness is in all this. Empathy and communication. Please understand me. That is what the customer is crying for. Communicate with me. If there is a change, let me know. They also need transparency. I have no problem paying you, but tell me the truth about it. Let me know where my money is going. And this is because of the greenwashing that is taking place, where companies are saying to be sustainable, but that is a greenwash. Our customers need transparency. Accessibility. How accessible are you? They also want to feel valued. Yes, feel valued. Remember, Loyal customers are the ones who will promote your business better than any other marketing campaign will. So we need to keep them, this B2C as well as B2B. So what are the needs of the B2B? B2B here, we are talking of that travel agent on the other side. They need you to be well prepared before the meeting. Have all your facts. You know your country. Tell me what it is there. Tell me what you have to offer. Be prepared. You'll see that later on. They want you to be simple without being too simplistic. I don't want a long story. I want you to give me the elevator pitch, and I should be able to get everything out of it. Because we are virtual and I only have 5 minutes with you. They also want a lot of creativity from you. Yes, you'll hear some of them telling you that my client is very, very complicated. The person would like to see X, Y, Z. The person has this number of days. How do you plan for that? Then it's upon you to show them your creativity. Show them your knowledge of your product by organizing and making them as comfortable as possible. A B2B customer is not ready to wait for you. They want answers and now. And they want better answers than the B2C. Remember, they are going to give the same to their client. So they need to understand them and buy them in. They also need you to be loyal to their customers. If you told them this, that is what they expect to be passed to the customers. And additionally, they want you to be very, very accessible, 24/7, 365. These have different needs from the two categories of B2C and B2B. And remember that it is the quality of these customers that you have that will keep your business afloat. And we always like equating the quality customers to having the right bees in a hive and the right vegetation around it, because you're looking for honey, and honey does not come when you don't have the right bees. We know that the female bees are the ones that produce. So if you only have male, then woe unto you. Ensure that you are prepared, ensure that you have what it takes. And finally, these people would like accountability, the B2B. Sorry, I had missed that out. You should be accountable to whatever happens. What kind of insurances do you have? What kind of contingency plans do you have? Be accountable. That is what they're looking for. As a result of the changes that we have discussed, there are so many things that customers are looking for in the tourism experience. They are looking for so many things. They'll tell you of the beaten track. They don't want to be taken in the car for 8, 10, 12 hours. They want slow travel. We were taken through the product development webinar, and slow travel is one of them. Less frequent, but longer travel. They want local and good travel. They want to experience, they want authenticity. They want to taste good because they want it to be sustainable. They don't want to mess around as they go or as they visit your country. And some of them are also looking for self-guided travel, which we might not be sure of how to do it, but there are so many ways of working around it to help us to give them the self-guided travel. And this is where you're finding some of them asking you for a homestay. I don't want to just be in the hotel. Please put me in that home. I want to learn more from the locals. I want to do things without you as the operator. Let me do it with the locals. They're also looking for personal and flexible experience. So the reason as to why I brought this slide here is because as we are understanding the customer, we need to understand what are the new things they are looking for. Because if we are not sure of what they are looking for, then we might end up offering them what they are not looking for. And we have seen their needs. So we have to coin our products to suit their needs and also cover the new tourism experience. I have a book there called The Sales Success Handbook, 20 Lessons to Pen and Close Sales by Linda Richardson, written in 2003. When I looked at this book, I realized that we can borrow a lot in terms of creating relationships. We are looking at understanding our customers, and we need to understand that it is a relationship that we are starting, that we are growing, and that we are keeping and sustaining, retaining for our future. And when we have the right relationships, then we are sure of maintaining our businesses according to our objectives. So how do you create relationships? I have selected a few of these 20 lessons that would resonate with a tour operator. And the first one is creating dialogue, building that interactivity, assessing what are you giving and what are you getting, assessing how long you talk and how you listen, so that you can be able to build interactivity. Remember, we have different personas. Therefore, when you are creating the dialogue, you must understand the person first. Seek to understand the other party first before you are understood. I've heard many saying, I was talking to the person, but the person seemed not to be interested. Understand the person first. Why were they seeming not to be interested? And this you can get by asking more probing questions to ensure that you unearth that unique problem. You unearth that need. You look for what exactly are their pains. What are their actual needs? And this can be further made better by ensuring that we learn about the customer. We are not, yes, after we interact, we are also telling them of what we know. But first, listen to the customer. Stop educating the customer first. Listen to them so that you understand what is it that they know and which are the gaps that you're coming to fill. Without necessarily answering their questions, you are asking them questions. Let them answer. You are not the one answering. And the other one was to always be prepared. Always be prepared. I know that some of us went for virtual, others have gone for physical trade fairs. On the chat box, just tell us, what did you prepare, or how did you prepare yourself for that exhibition or that trade fair, either online or physical? What or how did you prepare yourself for that exhibition or trade fair? Just get a few points that can guide the discussion on the chat. How you prepared yourself, or what you prepared. Because it's not just you have an exhibition and you wake up and go. Caroline, do we have anyone who has come back with answers? Not yet. How do you prepare yourself for an exhibition or a trade fair? Remember, we are seeking to understand our customer.
Yeah. So Nancy says flyers. Tina says research the businesses you're meeting. Margaret says conduct a background study on a product of topic. Esther says marketing materials, for example, brochures. Vera says know the client and product. Esther says appointments. Tina says get to know the cultural background of the client. And then we have Esther, who says contacts, and Ruth, understand the market segments. And then for Caroline, she says,
thank you.
To know who is the right client to engage.
Thank you very much to all those who have participated. Yes, when we are going to an exhibition or a trade fair, there is so much that we need to do to ensure that we get the right person. So we need to research. We need to understand which is this market that we are going for. What do they want? Who is this prospective client? What contacts are there? Have you booked appointments? And to what level? What are their areas of interest? And the reason as why we are doing all this is because if we do not understand our clients, if we do not understand what they need for and prepare for them, then we may go there with our flyers and they will be useless because maybe they don't read flyers, for example. Maybe there are those people who want everything digital. So give me a card. And even if you give me your card, I don't need to carry your card physical. I just need to scan it, for example. So are your cards scannable? So all these are things that we need to understand first and prepare for before we go for an exhibition. We are looking at creating relationships, and we need to prepare in all aspects. Not one, not two, but all aspects. Strategic preparation. Who are you? What do you stand for? When people hear of your company, what should they be looking for? What is your vision? What are your objectives? Whom do you serve? Are you understanding your customers? What can you or can't you take? We also need to do preparations in terms of our customer. Researching more on them, understanding what they are looking for, booking appointments. in case of an exhibition. But remember, this preparation is not only for exhibition, but always when you are having a meeting with your customers. You also need to understand the product or the technical preparation. Somebody telling you that they would like to travel a distance of about 300 kilometers in a day and come back, you almost know that that one would be impossible. So are you ready to, do you know your product? Do you know the distances between one and the other? To a point that you can be able to give proper advice, prepare in all aspects. Then you need to tailor all the materials towards that customer. And that is why you're understanding the customer, because this requires solid customer research for you to know who the customer is, their logos, their issues, what exactly are they looking for? Personalized items, such that when you meet them, they will know that for sure you had gone through their website, you had researched them, you know what they are looking for. I look at it like if I tell you who I am and my company, and you start telling me of what I do, I will come closer to you because I already resonate with what you are saying. And as a result of that, you find that a customer is won so fast because you have understood them. And I believe that the sweetest thing in everyone's ear is your name. Their name is very important to them. If I hear Mary, I will turn. So if you keep calling me by my name as we are talking, because you had researched, you know, and you can be able now to call me by my name, then I'll be ready to listen to you. Then visualize your call, if it's a call. Plan the flow and ensure that you're not the one talking and talking and talking. Let the customer talk. Give them time. Allow them to tell you who they are and what they're looking for, so that you're also able to pick their needs. Because if you don't do that, then you find yourself not knowing exactly what they were looking for. And that will be the worst case scenario when you have a customer in front of you, you think you are finished, but you're not so sure of how you're going to draft that email afterwards because you did not listen. Or after you have done the meeting, you keep asking the same questions that you'd have asked when you were in the meeting. The other one is you go on to understand your customer, will be to sharpen your critical skills. Sharpening your critical skills. And maybe on the chart, please list some of the critical skills that are required by a tour operator. List some critical skills required by a tour operator on the chart. Remember we said that you have to sharpen your saw. Otherwise, you cannot go anywhere without that.
So on the chart, we have from Vera knowledge, there's communication, customer service, courtesy, knowledge of product, vast knowledge, being sharp, proper listening skills, after business service, professionalism.
Okay, thank you so much for those who have contributed. All those are some of the critical skills that you need because you need vast knowledge. You need to understand your product. You also need to understand and know how you're going to negotiate. Having the proper listening skills, very important. Being very professional. Customer service, remember for us, we are giving a service which is very different from a product, very intangible, very fluid, and therefore we need to be able to communicate and have the right knowledge on customer service. We also need to pay attention to all the details of our product, because if we do not do that, then we might not serve our customers. They need us to be so knowledgeable. So we need to work on our skills and improve them. We also need to commit to self-critique. Assess your success, assess your understanding of issues, your experience. Do you need to go back for more skills? Are you competent enough? Get feedback. We said that your customer is the one who is ready to honestly give you feedback. Ask them how you're faring on. Also ask others when you serve them. How do you ask for feedback? There are so many ways of asking for feedback, and nowadays we have both online and offline. It's very important for us to always ask for feedback, because if you don't know how you're faring, then you might be going to the wrong direction without knowing. The other one is relating to customers. And we need to acknowledge them. Whenever somebody sends you an email, even if you don't have an answer there and then, remember we said that one of the needs is accessibility. Acknowledge receipt and say you're working on it. Let the customer know that you're actioning on the same. It is understanding these customers that will help them come back again and again. And you also need to acknowledge, telling them, indicating that you heard them. Yes, they complained. Did you hear them? Have you acted on the same? We need to empathize with them, showing a genuine concern for the observed emotions. We have talked of the hard times. We have talked of different things that have changed. So how are we going to ensure that our customers remain? It's also important for us to create a rapport with them. How will you build a rapport with somebody that you have never met? By having the right codes for the right lock. And we said that one of the things that can help you build a rapport is, first of all, showing the person that you know the person by having studied what they do. Again, the other thing is showing them your similarities. How similar are you? Because if I understand that you are the same as I am, then it will be very easy for us to work together, because two cannot work together unless they agree. Ensure you have the right codes, because if you have the wrong ones, the lock will get stuck. Know the game. Know your customers and know their needs for you to be able to relate with them in the right manner. The other one from that book was questioning strategy. Remember, we are diving deeper to understanding our customers. And you can only understand somebody if you're questioning them and asking the right questions. If it's a networking session, are you asking the right questions? Do you know what to ask? What, why, when, how, and how much? To be able to fill up the gaps understand this customer more. Understanding the situation as they are, their satisfaction levels, their future needs. And this is important because if you understand their future needs, then you'll be able to personalize your future messages to them. That is why you're questioning them. And to get the right answers, always use the open-ended questions. Not a yes, no answer, but open-ended. What kind of safari do you prefer? You have not asked the person whether he or she prefers the beach as opposed to wildlife safaris. So when you ask what, then they go deeper. Why? They go deeper. When? The most appropriate time. Maybe the person might tell you that most of my clients, if it's a B2B, I serve clients who are family members, and schools are always given a break between this and that, that and that. This holiday falls at this. So when becomes important. How and how much also becomes very important questions. And that is why we need to have the right strategy in questioning so that we're able to harvest as much information as possible to help us understand this customer. Remember, we are diving deeper to get that fish from that lake, and it cannot be found in the shoals. It has to be found deeper there. We also need to use acknowledgement and paraphrasing to encourage customers' discussion. Did you mean this? And then the person says, yeah, oh yes, and continues starting it off again, like the person never told it before. You are still getting more information. And as you are questioning, always do what we call forward thinking. Understanding all the elements of implementation, not leaving any behind. How are they going to travel? What kind of airlines do they like? Which is the most appropriate time? Maybe it's a family that has a disabled person. Understand all the elements, know what they're looking for. And this can only come if you're having the right questioning strategy and not cutting them off. Let them tell you as much as possible. The other one is positioning your message. How different are you? We covered in another session, we covered our unique positioning, unique selling propositions. How different are you? So in this, you need to know and practice your key message. What is it that you want them to hear? Remember, this will be made better and sweeter if you have done your homework, going through all those other steps that we have just discussed. Because now you'll be able to fit in all these things that you have heard from the person, resonating with the person, to show them that for sure you are unique in your own way. And this message should be continually updated, and it should bring out the key customer benefit. So having listened to their pains, integrate this into your key message. Let them see that you're the only savior that they've been looking for. In particular, when it comes to B2B, ensure that you practice this and you look at all those previous slides for you to be able to come up with a better positioning message. Remember, if you don't do your homework, then somebody else has done their homework. We also need to check and ask for feedback. How was it? Did your client like it? Was it bad? Okay, good, great. What was it? And even as you're moving on with the process of understanding your customer, as you're discussing, you could ask for feedback before moving on. How is it so far? Anything that I need to get back to? Have you understood? Or do I need to go back? Use the check-in question throughout the call and do a reality check. Ensure that you get the right feedback to help you improve, because it is how much you know about your customer that will help you in knowing the league that you're gonna play in that game, the position of your company in that game. And then lastly, we have follow-up flawlessly. Let it be that you have a system. You are trying to understand your customer. Remember, they talked of accessibility. They talked of creativity. This has come. They talked of communication. This needs to be communicated. Have a system. Be organized. And communicate as much as possible and with deadlines. If there is something to be paid, don't tell the customer to pay the last minute. Ensure you keep communicating and in the right manner. And remember, it is you to do the follow-up, not the customer to do your job. You need the customer. And it is good for us to note that there is no evidence to suggest that the longer the relationship is maintained, the more likely a customer is to either continue buying from you or refer you to other potential customers. What does that mean? That means that it depends on how you serve your customer. What you're going to do with them today will ensure that they are your customers tomorrow. And it is very important for us to be able to distinguish customer and a friendship. There is a line that we should not think of crossing. And somebody said that silent isn't golden, it is brown. So it being that your customer is silent, take care. That silence is not golden. The customer may be just leaving you as well. So it's important for us to know how to take care of our customers. How do we deal with an angry or difficult customer as I come to the end? Anyone who would like to share with us an experience that turned either positive or negative towards maintaining a relationship with an angry or difficult customer? Anyone who would like to share an experience that turned either positive or negative towards maintaining a customer? Anyone? You can unmute. I can see no hand. Anyone who can share with us whatever experience they have, either positive or negative? when dealing with an angry or a difficult customer? Ruth Awino. Owino. Ruth, would you mind sharing any experience? Ruth is silent.
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Thank you. Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Yeah. All in all, if there is any challenge that comes during a trip or anything like that, what I did is that I did a follow-up. I tried to solve the problem on site. Then after that, when it was quite a difficult client, then I followed up with email, phone calls, and tried to apologize. And at the end of the day, we became friends again. So I did follow up after the trip, and it took me like about 2 to 3 months for us to come back on track again.
Wow. Oh. Thank you so much, Ruth, for sharing. We can hear how long it took her to come back. Yes, Tina, I can see you have your mic on. Would you like to share?
Yes, please. Yes, for me, I try not to be defensive because usually the angry client will come with a long list of complaints about service.
Hi, Tina. Sorry to disrupt. Could you please increase your volume?
All right, okay. Is it better? Is it better, please?
Yes.
All right. So I try not to be defensive when it comes to dealing with an angry customer. And I also try not to take sides. I would rather tell the client to calm down, and then we have listed down or we noted down his or her complaints. We are going to look further into that and then get back to the client. So in that regard, if we were at fault, we decide to offer an alternative service that will compensate the client, or we will give the client, let's say, a credit towards a future service that we may give to the client. And yeah, basically that's what the approach I take.
Yeah, thank you, Tina. Thank you. Thank you for that sharing. You also hear how Tina has dealt with it. Follow up, even giving credit note. It is not easy to deal with an angry or difficult customer. But because we are in business, many are the times that we cannot avoid them. And as we can see there from Bill Gates, he says that your most unhappy customers are your great source of learning. Remember, we said that silent is not golden. And Bill Gates here is confirming the same by saying that your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning because you change your way of doing things. You make your policies better. You make your terms and conditions better as a result of that unhappy customers. Many are the times that we don't know that it is our terms and conditions that are not watertight. And as a result of that, Bill Gates is advising us that we should not just look at these customers as a nuisance, but we should learn much and much from them. Thank you, Tina and Ruth, for sharing. How do you deal with these angry or difficult customers? The most important thing first is to remain calm. Ensure that you remain calm. You practice active listening. At times, I know that it is hard to listen, particularly when you're dealing with a difficult person, because you already know what is on your side and you already know maybe that the person is on the wrong, but it is important for us to remain calm and practice the active listening. Remember, we are trying to understand them better. And repeat back what they say so that they also hear you. At times, they may say something that even to them might shock them to hear it again. But when you repeat it back, the person may calm down, thinking or telling themselves that is not what they meant. Thank them for bringing the issue to your attention and explain the steps that you will take to solve this problem. It's important for you also to set a time to follow up with them if needed. We heard from Ruth that it took 2 to 3 months. And again, be sincere. If you need to apologize, apologize. Be sincere with the person, because it would be very, very bad for you to try to cover up, only for them to realize that you were not sincere. And finally, highlight the case's priority. Document the case so that even if there is, nowadays we are having reviews online. When you have documented the case and the person decides to go online and put something negative, at least you can have something to counter the person with. So it's important for us to always highlight the case's priority and action, have an action plan on how you're going to solve this problem. Very important. Finally, to recap, we need to increase the customer loyalty because as we said it, we need them for us to be able to move, and we need to add value to dominate so that we get them coming back again and again. So what do we need to do? Ensure that we deliver excellent customer service, tailor our products to these ideal customers that we have established, set clear expectations to them, let them know. For example, in Kenya, we have what we call the wildlife safaris. The wildlife safaris, and one is going looking for the big five and is only having a single day in the park. And we had promised them to see the big five. And the guide is not able to track down the leopard, for example. Leopard is the one which is most difficult to get. Set clear expectation. Let them know you are going to look for them. So if you are lucky, you'll see it, so that they don't start castigating your driver guide. Then you need to reward them and show them that you care. Ask for feedback and act upon it. Ensure a committed team of employees. Very, very important. If you need to increase the customer loyalty, let it be that from A to Z, the team that deals with them are customer cautious. And finally, be transparent and show responsibility. As we saw that is their need, that is what they're looking at. And here is a bonus showing us the customer journey mapping from the pre-purchase. When you do not have the customer with you and they're looking forward to maybe travel from wherever they are to purchasing your product, and even after purchasing your product, those are some of the tools that we can use in each and every phase of this customer journey. I don't want to talk more about this because we'll be having a marketing session, but this is just a bonus because we are trying to understand our customer, and it will be good to understand that it is a journey, it is a process, it is not a hit and run. We don't just want to get them, but we want to retain them. So we are moving from the unknown, which is the pre-purchase, to the post-purchase where we want to keep them across to us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I know we have taken longer than expected, and I believe you'll forgive me for that. And thank you for keeping it up with me. So welcome any questions that you could be having from that discussion. Any questions?
If you have a question, you can just unmute your mic and then ask directly to Mary, or you can type your question in the chat option and then we can read it out.
Any question on the chat, Caroline?
Not yet, Mary. A lot of thank yous, though, to you.
Thank you.
No more
So
questions?
do we assume that it was well taken?
I think we can.
It would be good to at least ask a question. It will motivate me.
I hope no one is shy to ask a question.
Well, let's hope so. But you are recording, so they should be able to get the recording. And in case somebody would like to ask a question, even after the session is over, I am available. My contacts are on the presentation. And I like it when people get in touch and they can be able to explain whatsoever needs to be explained.
Okay, it seems that no one has any questions, so it's safe to assume that I can stop the recording for now.